What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel, and today we are checking out the FuriBee GT220, another fire dancer. Yeah, this one is slightly different. It's got a aluminum housing. The whole thing is encapsulated completely, surrounded on the top to protect all of the components. Very nice. CNC aluminum. It is a 220 millimeter brushless FPV racer, and this one came with a bind and fly FR Sky receiver. It is a D8 receiver, however, so a quadcopter of this caliber, I think it should at least come with a XM or XM plus, if not an XSR receiver, but we are given the D8 receiver. So I bound to it because it was already hunkered down inside, and you needed to remove 1, 2, 3 screws on the housing to separate it, as well as you needed to undo 4 screws on the bottom of the quadcopter to lift the housing up so you can undo it, as well as remove one of those screws so that the camera can be separated as well in order to get into the receiver and the VTX. So slightly different design than what we are used to, this whole encapsulating housing here. But we have the ESCs on the bottom, we have the flight controller in a double stack configuration, and there's another plate of the carbon fiber. It is just clicked into place via these couple of holes on this side and couple of holes on this side, and the VTX is double-sided sticky tape to that carbon fiber frame, about a 1 millimeter thick carbon fiber frame, and the receiver is hunkered down and double-sided sticky taped onto it as well, so completely separating themselves from the flight controller. So that is a welcome design, I think. And the VTX also is a standalone VTX, and it is zip tied onto that carbon fiber frame, or plate rather. So it is hunkered down pretty good, and it is staying on there very nicely. All right, so this is a it says in the product page 5 millimeter thick carbon fiber frame, but it is not. It is a 4 millimeter carbon fiber true X frame configuration, and it is a unibody construction. Now, one thing about unibody construction, guys, is that once you break one of the arms, you're going to have to change out the whole frame, whereas some of the other ones have the arms that are detachable. Those are a little bit more desirable, because once you break one of those arms, you can go ahead and purchase a separate piece and just install it. You don't have to remove everything. But this one, be careful. I kind of crashed it a little bit trying to hover right outside of the house. I landed it a little bit crooked, so I got a couple of indentations or scratch marks right on the tip of the carbon fiber, but everything else is still in good shape. It fell from about 3 or 4 feet off the ground. I just kind of depressed the throttle. I was in angle mode, and it cut off the motors completely, and I wasn't able to restart the motors in mid-air, and it just dropped to the ground. So when you're flying this thing in angle mode, be careful, and if you have the motor stop turned on, be careful, because when you cut the throttle, everything cuts off and it doesn't restart immediately. Okay, so that was one of the experiences I had with this baby here. Now, the motors on this one is identical to the GT215 motors. It is the 2306 2400 kV motors. We are given some tri-bladed props, 5048, looks like the Racer Star tri-bladed props, and we got some braided motor wire covers with heat shrinks at the end so it doesn't fray off, which I electric tape onto the frame because it was just flopping up and down. Very long motor wires going to the flight controller, and the flight controller and the ESC, sorry, and the ESCs are the BL Heli S 35 amp ESCs with 40 amp bursts. Yeah, it supports D-shot, one-shot, multi-shot, and it supports 2 to 6S batteries on this one, just like the GT215 does. On paper anyways, and the flight controller is right above it. It is the Omnibus F4 SD flight controller with integrated Betaflight OSD, and it also has the micro SD card slot for your black box logging needs, and you got the micro USB connection port right on the side there. It was pre-installed with Betaflight 3.2.0, so I'm just going to leave it at that. And it is also soft mounted, sort of soft mounted anyway. There's a little rubber gasket right between the standoff of the ESC and the flight controller, so it is kind of soft mounted, so that is nice. The VTX is a 5.8 gigahertz 48 channel 200 milliwatt to 600 milliwatt switchable VTX, and it comes with a right hand circular polarized Pagoda 2 antenna with a RP SMA connector. This segment of the video got corrupted, so I had to fill it in, guys. Sorry. Now the camera that we are given is the 960 horizontal pixel camera. It is said to be a CCD camera. It has a 2.1 millimeter lens and a 140 degree field of view. And the receiver that we are given, like I said, was a FrSky D8 receiver. So the only thing that I've done to this quadcopter out of the box was to tape down the motor wires and install the blades. And that is just about it. Now, this quadcopter, as I did my hover test, a couple of the motors got really hot, guys. This rear right motor and the front right motor got very hot, and I was wondering why that was. And this quadcopter's motor is tied down with a Allen screw. The shaft of the motor is hunkered down with the Allen screw. Most of them are hunkered down with a C-clip. Now, it was a little bit tight, so there was a lot of resistance on these two motors. So when I spun it, it will spin a little bit and it'll stop. So there was a resistance, and that is the reason why the motor got really hot. So I loosened it up just a little bit, so now the motors are spinning freely at will and continues to spin for a while before it comes to a stop, just like the other two motors, and the hotness went away after that. So when you get this kind of quadcopter with this kind of motor, the same goes with the GT215. It has the same type of motor, same type of shaft, and the hex screw on the bottom of the motor. So be careful with that. Loosen it up, but not too much, just so that the motors can spin freely, so that the motors do not get hot. So this quadcopter, because of that CNC aluminum housing at a slight angle up, maybe about 25 degrees or so, you are able to just attach any type of action camera to get some HD videos, as long as it doesn't jut out too much in the way of the FPV camera. And you can't put it too far back because of the Pagoda antenna that is sticking up straight up. So if you change this antenna to a more bendable type of antenna, you can probably bend it back a little bit so that you can put the action camera more towards the back. But I'm just going to fly it with the VTX and the camera that it was given, so we'll take videos with that with my Headplay SE goggles. So let's go for a little test flight with the Fire Dancer, the FuriBee GT220. Oh, and the quadcopter did come with an extra set of those pink Racer Star tri-bladed props, as well as an instruction manual. It goes on to tell you some of the specs and stuff, and what the video transmitter is, and how to bind some of the different types of receivers, and the layout of the frequency table there. So better than nothing. It's pretty decent. And it also comes with this little nut tightener for your props, and you also get this little carbon fiber plate, and this is to help protect your battery from the bottom. So you got a little bottom plate for your battery as well. And it came in this brown generic box. And let me go ahead and quickly open it up and show you how the quadcopter came. It came in this nice little foam cutout, so very well protected. But once you put the props on, you are not able to put it back in here. So one-time use for transportation. All right, so let's go for that test flight. All right, we are ready to go with the GT220 Fire Dancer with the whole pink theme going on over there. So let's go ahead and check it out. I got it bound to my FrSky QX7S, and I did bring my remote control this time. So checking it out in angle mode first. And I got a 1300 milliamp tattoo battery for this flight test. I've already kind of hovered it in the backyard, and it does a pretty good hover. I wasn't able to fly it around the backyard though. I just did a hover test. And like I said, if you got your config set up so that the motors are stopped, then don't pull your throttle all the way down in angle mode. Otherwise the motors will freeze up and just drop to the ground on this one. We got some directional LED lights in the back. Yep, it is functional, going left and right. The lights do turn on, and going reverse and forward. Yep, the light colors do change, so that is nice. And looking pretty fantastic with the pink theme. Yeah, what is with all this pink stuff going on nowadays? Let's do a little punch out. So far so good, very, very smooth. Yeah. Okay, we got some power on this one here with the 4S. Do another little punch out. 100%. Oh yeah.
1.
Very nice. Very punchy. Tons of power. Very good control so far. And I'm not going to take it too far away from me because of the D8 receiver. Oh wow, but check that out. Very nice.
30.
Awesome. And I love those directional LED lights in the back blinking away. Let's check it out in acro mode here.
20.
Yeah, very smooth so far. Woohoo!
10. 9.
Over rotating.
7. 6,
Nice.
5. 4. 3. 2. 1.
Okay, our timer is up. So let's go ahead and bring this baby in. Oh wow, but it's a very nice flyer, this one. Oh yeah, we're gonna do some FPV. Hopefully nothing happens in the FPV, so let's go ahead and bring it in. Nice. There you go, green lights off. Once you arm it, it turns blue, and going to the left, red light blinks in the left side, red light blinks on the right side. Pull it down, all 3 red lights blink. Going forward, it just stays blue. Nice. All right, here we go with our first FPV flight with the FuriBee GT220 Fire Dancer. I have another 1300 milliamp Tattoo 4S. And let's check it out here. So far, first impressions, very smooth.
2.
Wow. Yeah, very, very smooth of a flyer, this one. Okay, there's a little bit of prop wash right out of the box. Betaflight stock PIDs. I think that's good enough. I don't think you need to change parameters. Oh my goodness, this thing is smooth. Whoa. I like it. Very smooth. Woohoo. Over rotation and under rotation there. Let me get this thing right. There we go. Nice flips. Oops. Oops. There you go.
30.
There you go. Very nice. So far it is doing fantastic.
20.
A little bit of prop wash on the way down.
8. 7. 6.
And I've already
5,
been flying
4,
for 3 minutes.
3.
It says 2
2,
minutes and 20
1.
seconds, so it's just my Tyrannus giving me the early get-go of having it turned on. Still got 15.1 on this Tattoo 1300. Still got a lot of flight time left. Oh, so far this quadcopter is a very nice flyer. No problem so far. And the video is not bad either. We don't have too much noise. And I think due to the fact that the VTX is a standalone and it is away from the flight controller, that is helping out. Wow, what a smooth flyer right out of the box. Oh, super nice, man. Hey, the D8 receiver is going the distance here too. Oh, I just had a failsafe just about. Whoo, gained it back. Whoo, did you see that? I was upside down and I have lost it for a couple seconds almost. Alright, so we won't go that far. Very nice. Yeah, definitely deserves a better receiver on this one here. Man, I've been flying for how long now? 4 minutes. And I still have 14.5. But you know what? I'm going to go ahead and bring it in. So, very, very nice power consumption as well. Nice. Not much prop wash on the bottom. Yep. So if you gently throttle up, you can kind of almost avoid the prop wash on this thing. Yep. Very nice. Okay, I'm going to bring it in. I still got 14.6. Wow. These are some good batteries. Okay. There we go. First FPV flight with the FuriBee GT220 Fire Dancer. And it is a good one. Alright, just got done checking out the FuriBee GT220, the Fire Dancer. And this one is a terrific of a flyer right out of the box. Betaflight stock PIDs, and it just handled awesomely in the FPV Flight. Flown it with a couple of Tattoo batteries, 1300 milliamp, and gave me a little bit more than 4 minutes of flight time with this baby here. So this is not a power hungry design here, so it is pretty nice. And I was doing a little bit of punching here and there, and just a fantastic usage of the battery. Very, very nice and very, very smooth of a flyer. Flown it with my Tyrannus QX7S, and that is just a fantastic, fantastic transmitter as well. Go very well together. So there you have it, guys. My flight test and review of the FuriBee Fire Dancer GT220. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching. Have a great day, and we'll see you again next time.